40-year-old black mother is dead, shot and left for dead by 6 illegal immigrants from Honduras. My question is, where's the outrage? Where is the NAACP? Where's Al Sharpton? Ben Crump, the BLM Brigade await. I know where they are. You see, Larisha wasn't killed by a white cop. She was killed by Biden's border policy.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Real Talk with Darius. It's good to be here. Listen, remember to hit that like button, comment, subscribe, and share this channel. We're going to talk about another very interesting subject that's dear to my heart. Why? It's because of the hypocrisy I see in our community. One of the major hypocrisies in the modern era that plays out on national media or in national media. I'm going to let April Chapman, who does a wonderful job, but I encourage you to go to her channel and subscribe if you are a Christian who likes talking about relevant issues. She does a great job on her channel. So without further delay, here we go.
I am quite perturbed today because we have to confront some cultural chaos, lots of political hypocrisy, and some outright wickedness. And I'm going to do my best to do it all from a biblical lens. Today's episode, we are looking at a very hard-hitting and unfiltered story because we need to talk about the brutal deletion, and I'll use that word for YouTube purposes, Larisha Thompson. I want to talk about why is it that no one on the left wants to say her name. So the question is, who is Larisha Thompson and what happened to her?
And I really want to bring up a point on that real quick, or another thought. I did a video recently about a young man named Breon Allen. Lived in it's like a month ago since I did it, but anyway, I think he lived in Chicago. Don't quote me on that. But 7 years old, whose life was snuffed out. Just like Larisha's story. His story was left out of the mainstream media's reporting or lineup because he was unalived. I forget the word April just used, but anyway, he was unalived by gang members, some black gang members, when he was walking down the street, heading home with his cousin. It was gang related. So there is a narrative that if cops or whites are not actually involved, if it's real, unless it's real or imagined, you would not hear that story. And that's the point I've been bringing out. And some people get mad and say, Darius, what aboutism? What aboutism? It seems to be whataboutism when the truth counts. They want to brush it under the side and say, well, this is what happened, this, and that. No. Every life matter, number one, and all black lives matter, number two. It seems it's okay for black people to destroy black people, but nobody else can do it.
Now, Larisha, she was a 40-year-old black mother from Lancaster County, South Carolina. And on May the 2nd, she was gunned down while driving to go and visit some friends. Unfortunately, her body was discovered inside her Honda Accord. She was shot, robbed, and left like she did not matter. Take a listen to this.
Tonight, 6 people, including teenagers, they're facing charges after a local mother was shot in her car. 40-year-old Larisha Thompson was shot and killed in her car off Riverside Road in Lancaster. The sheriff's office says the people arrested are...
I want y'all to keep this in mind. When you're listening to this type of reporting, notice how they don't ever, when it's black on black crime or brown on black crime, they do not mention the skin color. Notice that.
Are tied to another crime as well, and because of their immigration status, they also now face deportation. WCNC's Charlotte Jesse Pierre is in Lancaster with the latest developments.
Larisha Thompson's life ended in tragedy, gunned down while she was driving down the road. Tonight, 6 people between the ages of 13 and 21 years old facing murder charges in this case.
People like this have no place in our society. and we will do everything in our power to make sure the full weight of the law is brought down on these 6 individuals.
6 people, including 4 teenagers, are behind bars facing multiple charges. The Lancaster County Sheriff's Office says, first, the group tried and failed to break into a convenience store, damaging a bathroom door and shooting up the security cam. Days later, they say that group shot and killed 40-year-old Larisha Thompson.
Somebody lost their mom, their sister, aunt, mother. Just a tragedy. This person is out doing the same thing you and I do, just driving down the road, minding their own business.
The sheriff says Thompson was driving down Riverside Road on her way to meet friends when the group tried to rob her. He says 21-year-old Azael Torres Chirinos is the one who pulled the trigger, hitting Thompson, leaving her for dead in her car. Officials say none of the suspects are in the country legally and should not have had the gun.
They took the life of an innocent young lady, didn't have the right to be here, much less commit these crimes here.
Detainers have been placed on all 6. So if any of them were to become eligible for release, they would be taken into ICE custody. In Lancaster, Jesse Pierre, WCNC Charlotte.
So when I watch that news clip, the first thing that comes to mind is, are you freaking kidding me? Are you freaking kidding me? The suspects are 6 illegal migrants from Honduras, 3 adults, and 3 juveniles. And what do they have in common? All of them are in this country unlawfully. And hear me clearly. I am not xenophobic. So take a little ignorant, illogical, liberal argumentation and go sit down over there somewhere. Okay? I don't have time for that today. I do not hate immigrants. I have an issue with illegals, people who are in this country unlawfully, undocumented, whatever you want to call them. They're not migrants. They are here illegally. How many more people have to die before you leftical lunatics get that through your thick skulls? All of these scholars are now charged with the murder of Larisha. We've had white women killed. Black woman has now been killed. But more importantly than all of that, these are Americans who were killed. Unfortunately, I would hope to say I would love for this to be the last one, but if we don't get a handle on this border, we may not be able to say that. So let me say it again for the people way in the back. 6 illegals murdered an American black woman. And still, the mainstream media is relatively silent. We're getting whispers, no hashtags for Larisha, no marches, not near one press conference outside of the one from the local municipality. No Ben Crump, no Sharpton, definitely no Jamal Bryant, no Jasmine Crooked Lash Crockett. All of you Marxist-minded, melanated Negroes make me sick. Why are y'all silent on this? I'll tell you why y'all are silent on this. It's because the killers aren't white. Because, see, the narrative makes the Democrat Party look real bad with your open border policy. And because Larisha's death doesn't serve your political agenda, they can't profit off of this one. So they're nowhere to be found. There ain't enough money to grift on this tragedy. So let's talk about the deafening silence of the unusual suspects, shall we? We can start with where's Al Sharpton? Okay, is he out there getting a touch up on his ultra perm, or is he out meeting with the next corporate CEO that he plans to shake down for some money? Huh? Where you at? Where's Ben Crump? Is he out? He's out chasing the next Taquayshawn that claims he didn't do nothing, or is he still at the bank cashing his check from the last Taquayshawn that claimed he didn't do nothing? You know, they're all into these race baiting hoaxes. I need to ask, where are you, Jazzy C, Jasmine Crockett? You out looking for a new wig or some more tire tread that you can turn into some lashes? I don't know, but I can guarantee you she's probably somewhere out in front of a camera somewhere playing the role of some weeping prophet of performative pain, but she's not talking about this story.
I agree 100%. That's been one of my points. Again, April's doing a great job. That's why I'm not saying a whole lot. But those are questions we should be asking, and those are things we should be concerned about. I mean, as black people, we keep saying, oh, well, I don't say it like that, but a lot of people say Black Lives Matter. They tore up the city. They tore up cities to the tune of $2 billion in 2020. And afterwards, we don't know how much damage was done. We don't know how many businesses went out of business, never to return. We don't know how many robberies may have taken place through that time. We do know over 30 to 40 something people lost their lives during that period, some of which were black. Number one, all those lives matter. Number two, supposedly Black Lives Matter. But they don't talk about those things. And you should be asking the question, why? Just like now, George Floyd, the story of George Floyd is coming up. I encourage you, go look up a movie that is still on YouTube. If you don't find it, there's on Rumble. It's called The Fall of Minneapolis. It gives you gives us a lot more details that the mainstream media did not share with us concerning George Floyd's case. When you watch it, or if you watch it, will you discover that the officer they said sat on his neck actually is guilty or not guilty?
All you hear from all of these race baiting, race trading Negroes are crickets. This is what you hear. That's all you hear, crickets. These are the same people who screamed at the top of their lungs for George Floyd. They'll march for a convicted felon who overdosed while resisting arrest. But they're not going to say a word for a black woman slain by 6 illegals. She's just a black woman, you know. They come a dime a dozen. Why is this the case? This is the case because to acknowledge Larisha's death would be, to admit that the open border policies kill people. And it would also mean that you'd have to say, we were wrong. We screwed up bad. And Democrats are so evil and wicked that they cannot walk in truth and admit that they ever do anything wrong. They don't care who gets hurt. They don't care whose lives are destroyed. She's just a black woman, so oh well, the hell with it. That's how they view everything that doesn't serve their political agenda.
Mm-hmm.
These are the disciples of darkness that would rather protect their politics than to protect black lives. The NAACP, have you heard a peep from them?
Nope.
Missing in action. They are too busy trying to sue airlines over microaggressions and focused on one black girl who knocked another black girl upside the head with a baton during a track competition and then trying to force and turn that into racism. That's what the NAACP is too busy doing. But a black mother getting shot by illegals? And where's BLM? Where's BLM? Unless there's a white oppressor to blame or a donation button to hit, they don't care either. They don't care. This is why.
Which is also why you should go ahead and do some research for those of you who don't know. Why you should research the leadership of Black Lives Matter, how they took money, $90 million, all that money they took in, asking for all those donations. And by the way, where are also all of those celebrities that we heard a lot about? You know, the LeBron Jameses of the world. What's his name? He used to play for the Trailblazers. Dame time. Golly, I forget his whole name. But anyway, that basketball player and some others who all got in arms together. Okay, they locked arms together. They kneeled down. They interrupted the sports world, football, basketball, all other sports, to bring awareness to crime from cops against blacks, particularly black men. And yet, the violence that goes on in the African American community does not get near that type of recognition. There's no hardly any awareness, as April was pointing out, any awareness of the crimes we commit against our own. I've asked this question before and I'm going to continue to ask it. Who's more dangerous? Let's just go with that narrative that is still as bad today as it was back before the 1970s, the 1960s, where blacks literally on television, you could see it, were being prejudiced against race. Racism was prevalent. Let's say that's still going on in today's world, or something close to that. Why is it okay for black people to kill each other, to harm each other, but it's not okay for anyone else to do it? Who is of the greatest threat to you? The enemy you see coming, or the enemy within that you don't see coming?
I don't care who doesn't like it. Democrats have blood on their hands. Let's call it what it is. This murder is a direct result of Democrat policies.
Mm-hmm.
It's the direct result of an administration run by only the Lord knows who. But we don't even know who was behind the auto pen of the sock puppet, Joe Biden, and a brain dead former wannabe video vixen, Kamala Harris. We don't know who was running the office. These illegals weren't hiding and trying to avoid ICE on their way to work. No, they were out here committing burglaries, caught on surveillance, and armed with stolen guns. Why were they even in the country in the first place? You know why they were here? Because Cam told them to come. Yes, that cackling communist Kamala Harris, as the borders are, told them to come.
Yep.
But then she realized, okay, to save face, don't come. But it was too late. They were already here. The Democrat Party, they have become the party of open borders, lawlessness, anti-black policies, and they mask it all under compassion. And I don't understand why black folks are too slow to see it. Because they'll tell us, we need diversity, right? And then they'll tell us that, well, if you oppose illegal immigration, that's racist. But let me tell you what's racist. Letting a black mother get gunned down by illegals while pretending it never happened.
Right.
It's like having what happened to Laken Riley, but an entire party just refusing to acknowledge that her life mattered when they were at the State of the Union address, couldn't even say your name. Right. That is the real injustice. Cowards. You freak nasty, lawless Diddycrats, you need to say her name, but you won't. You say it. Larisha Thompson was her name, and Larisha Thompson mattered. This woman worked 2 jobs to care for her daughters. She wasn't some political pawn. She was a mom. That was somebody's sister. That was somebody's daughter, a human being made in the image of God. And yet, because she wasn't killed by a cop, her life is disposable to them. So no, I'm not going to let that slide. We're going to say her name, not because it helps a movement, but because it tells the truth. Her name is Larisha Thompson. And here is the truth. Our government failed her. Our government failed her, and these activist judges won't let Donald Trump do what he elected them to do, and that is to get these illegal immigrants out of our country. They have
100%. Because I'm going back and forth, for example, on some of my platforms, talking with people who seem to want to defend the entire group of immigrants, basically because all they want to do is welcome people in and say everybody's not all bad. I never said everybody was bad, no more than I say all blacks are good or all whites are bad. I don't play that game. But there are people, see, it really comes down to this. What are your moral standards? What are your core values? Because everything we say and do, generally speaking, that's exactly what this is based on.
Have to go. The media all but ignored her. Fox News covered it quickly. But Abby Phillips, Simone Sanders, where are you on this story? Huh? Aren't y'all always crying about being seen and heard? Well, we can't hear you. They That's what we hear. The left buried her memory because it exposes their hypocrisy.
Right.
Y'all, everything is not political.
Nope.
In this case is going down as not just a political tragedy, but it's going down as a moral one. Romans 13 tells us that the government is supposed to be a minister of justice, not injustice. Yet, for some reason, our government, they won't protect our borders. These globalists will not enforce the law. They won't honor its duty to the citizenry. This is why we need better leadership. I'm sick of this. This is why we must demand transparency and truth, because justice doesn't just come from sound bites and virtue signals. It comes from order and accountability and truth. And the truth right now is that Larisha Thompson should be alive.
Right.
And if you're outraged like I am hoping you share this video. Call out the silence. Take to your TikTok. Take to your YouTube channel. Speak up for her. You ask your little local NAACP chapter, where is their statement? Now, they won't respond to you, but do it anyway. Email your congressman or congresswoman. Ask the Congressional Black Caucus about this. Clyburn, where you at, Stephen? Huh? Where are you? And more importantly, y'all, let's pray. Let's pray for Larisha's children and for our country and for all of this deception to just be exposed.
Right.
Because I am tired, and I should not have to cover stories like this if the media would do their job, but they're not. They're not going to, because it doesn't fit the narrative. Well, this Black woman's life mattered. Laken Riley's life mattered. And so many other Americans whose lives were prematurely taken because of the wickedness of people who are not here to wish us well, but they are here to do us harm. And so that's pretty much all I wanted to say about that. I want to thank you guys. Thank you so much for watching today's episode. And listen, don't forget to like, comment, and share this episode. If you refuse to be silent while the left buries another Black life that didn't fit their agenda, share this video. Leave me a comment down in the box below. Until next time, you guys, stay bold and stay biblical. But above all else, stay unshakable. Grace and peace.
I thoroughly enjoyed that. That's why I wanted to post her video, because she's talking. We share some of the same values, biblically based foundations, and our core values based from that comes from that standpoint, which just helps shapes our view of the world. I'm gonna say this, and then I'll be done as well. This is not about helping to divide us more. This type of video, this type of reporting is about exposing the hypocrisy of the left, of the globalists. And the question is why? And it's hopefully it also brings many of us, I know everybody's not going to come together, but hopefully this also provides an opportunity for us to come together in unity. Unity of what? Unity of the truth. Not a truth, not their truth, not April's truth, not my truth, but the truth. There's a game being played. We are the players. So many of us. The question is who's coaching the team and who owns the team that you're on? We have to ask real questions so we can get real answers. We need to point out the hypocrisies. We need to point out the fallacies. And then come up with some actionable solutions, some of which April just mentioned. Thank y'all for joining me. Remember to like, comment, subscribe also to this channel. And I'll see you on the next one. Remember, Jesus loves you. Why?